Hey guys, welcome to Feel Good Flow. Today is all about happy hamstrings. So we're going to be working within a traditional vinyasa flow sequence, and we're going to be working in a lot of poses that are meant to strengthen and stretch through the muscles of the hamstrings. So we're going to start in mountain pose at the top of your mat. If you like to practice with props, for this practice I would recommend 2 yoga blocks and a strap. If you don't have yoga blocks, thick books work great. And if you don't have a strap, then a belt or a scarf or a dog leash make great substitutes. So let's come together at the top of the mat. Feet hips distance apart, toes pointing forward. Line up your heel behind the widest part of your foot. Roll the shoulders back and down, settle into the soles of your feet. So maybe do a little bit of wiggling and stretching as you start to really ground down into the sole of your foot. So feel the inner and outer ball of your foot spread apart. Then press into the back of your heel, finding that even distribution of weight from left to right and front to back. Good, now find your long spine, so draw the tailbone down towards the floor as you draw your belly button up and in. Reach the crown of head up towards the ceiling as you at the same time root down through the soles of your feet. So there's this dynamic opposition between the rooting down and the lifting up. Begin to firm the muscles of the legs, so squeeze the quads and the hamstrings against the bone of the thigh. Lift the kneecaps. Good. Broaden the shoulders. Move the collarbones away from each other. Find length in the back of your neck. And let's take 3 breaths here in our mountain pose. So find stillness, find steadiness, and then start to breathe in deeply through your nose, inhaling into the belly and chest. Exhaling through the nose, emptying your lungs. 2 more just like that, trying to make the inhales and exhales equal in length. On your next inhale, reach the arms forward and up, coming to Urdhva Hastasana or Exalted Mountain. Lengthen through the sides of your waist, reach through the fingertips. As you exhale, bring the hands together in prayer. Bring the hands through midline as you fold forward, hinging from the hips. Bringing the body to drape over the legs, putting a generous bend in your knees to start. Inhale, slide the hands up onto the shins. Lift through the spine, bringing the spine parallel to the floor. Shoot the heart forward and lengthen the tailbone back. And then as you exhale, slide the hands back down, coming back into that forward fold, rebending the knees. Inhale, root down through the heels as you lift and reach the arms up, coming back to that exalted mountain. Exhale the hands through heart center to come down to your sides. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, fold forward over the legs. Draping the spine over the thighs. Inhale, slide the hands up, half lift, straighten through the legs, reach through the spine. Exhale to come back to your forward fold. Head hangs heavy towards the floor like a bowling ball. On your inhale, press through the heels, reach the arms up as you engage the back chain of the body to come to Exalted Mountain. Exhale, hands through heart center to come down to your sides, mountain pose. Let's progress it a little bit further. So inhale, we're coming to our sun salutation A. Exhale, hinge forward to fold, long spine as you come down over the legs. Inhale, half lift, lengthen the space behind the heart, roll the shoulders back and down. Exhale to fold. This time, bend the knees generously. Place the hands down on your mat, and then we're going to step the left foot back and then the right foot back to come to plank pose. Shoulders stack over wrists. Reach back through the inner and outer heels. Hips come in line with shoulders and heels. Lift the thighs. Draw the abs in for 3, 2, and 1. Let's lower the knees down to the mat on the exhale. As we warm up, we're going to take a modified chaturanga. So bring the hips forward, shift the shoulders slightly forward in front of the wrists. As you exhale, bend the elbows to slowly lower the chest all the way down to the mat, coming down onto your belly. Walk the legs back, give yourself some space. Inhale to peel just the chest, up off the mat for a little baby cobra pose. Press into the tops of the thighs, the tops of your feet, firming the muscles of the leg against the ground. Lift your kneecaps, and then exhale to lower the body back down. Let's do that 2 more times. So inhale, peel the chest up, baby cobra. Exhale, lower down. Maybe try to get your forehead a little bit further on the mat towards the top. Inhale, peel up. Exhale, lengthen down. Good. Inhale, press up into your tabletop position. Tuck your toes under, and then lift the hips up and back to come to downward facing dog. So spread the fingers wide here in our first down dog. Hands are about shoulders distance apart. And really glue the palms down to the floor, bringing the ears in line with your biceps. And give yourself a generous bend in the knees here to start. So really lift your tailbone high towards the sky to the place where the back wall meets the ceiling behind you. Lengthen through the spine. Press into the palms. Relax the heels down towards the ground. Breathe here in your downward facing dog. And then on your exhale, we'll slowly lower the knees back down to the floor. We're going to come to low lunge. So take your left leg, step it forward in between the hands. Help it forward with the hand if you need some help. Make sure your hips distance with the feet and legs. And then inhale to walk the hands onto the front thigh. So the left kneecap stacks over the left ankle and tracks over the second toe of that front foot. If you're practicing with blocks, you could take the blocks alongside the hips and rest the fingertips on the blocks to find a little bit more length in the spine. If you're comfortable here, feel free to stay, or if you'd like, you can inhale the arms forward and up to come into your low lunge. Lengthen through the sides of your waist. Press down into the left heel and down into the right shin. And then magnetize the left heel and the right knee toward each other energetically, like they wanted to draw together underneath your hips. Feel the engagement of the left hamstring and the right quad as you scissor the inner thighs toward each other. And then on your next exhale, bring the hands down to frame the left foot, and then we're going to come back. We're pressing the hips back into our half splits. So lift the left toes up towards the ceiling, coming into this hamstring stretch to begin our hamstring work as we lengthen through these muscles. Now, if you have blocks, again, you can use the blocks here on whatever height setting feels appropriate for you. Try to square the hips. You can put a little micro bend here in the left knee, especially if you have tight hamstrings. Breathe. One more breath here in this hamstring stretch. And then rock back forward onto the sole of the left foot, and we'll plant the hands. Step the left foot back to come to your tabletop once more, and then we'll step the right foot through to take it to the other side. So find your stance, hips distance apart. Make sure that left hip is slightly forward in front of the left knee so you get a hip flexor stretch. And then walk the hands onto the right thigh as you're ready, or take them onto blocks, your choice. Draw the right hip back and the left hip forward to square the hips to the short end of the mat. Good. Press down through the right heel and the left shin. Find length in your spine. Option to stay here or inhale the arms up. Anjaneyasana or low lunge. Again, magnetize that right heel towards your left knee and the left knee toward your right heel. Feel that engagement, that pulling toward each other as you scissor the inner thighs together energetically. Feel that engagement in the left quad and the right hamstring now. Beautiful. On your next exhale, slowly take the hands back down to frame the right foot. Tuck the left toes under, lift the left knee up, and then mindfully lift that right foot off the floor. Step it back to come to plank pose. And then draw the belly button in as you lift the hips up and back, coming to downward facing dog. Option to pedal out the feet here, so if you'd like to alternate bending one knee and then the other. Soften through the shoulders, make sure they're not crowding the ears. Still press the floor strongly away through the hands. Lifting the hips high to the sky. Good, and then find stillness through the legs, and we're going to start to walk the feet up towards the hands. So little steps to come to the top of the mat, coming into your standing forward fold. So bend the knees as much as you need, draping the belly over the tops of the thighs. Head hangs heavy. As you inhale, slide the hands up onto the shins, halfway lift. Lengthen the tailbone back, crown of head reaches forward. Exhale to fold over the legs. As you inhale, press through the heels, sweep the arms forward and up, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands in prayer through heart center, mountain pose, Tadasana. Good, take a breath here, recenter yourself. And then inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands, bend the knees a lot. Step the feet back, right into your lunge, left into your plank. Shoulders stack over wrists, press the floor away. Spread through the shoulder blades. Lift the thighs, reach back through the inner and outer heels. Good, and then exhale to lower the knees down to the mat. Draw the belly in as you shift the weight forward, shoulders past the wrists. And exhale to slowly lower the chest all the way down to the floor. Good, let's come into your cobra once more. Option to take baby cobra, or inhale to peel the chest and belly up off the floor, lifting into your variation of cobra. So the arms could be straight, the arms can be slightly bent. You can take the baby cobra variation, whichever serves you best. And then exhale to slowly lower back down to the floor. Inhale to press to tabletop, or tuck the toes under, engage the core, press through the hands. Inhale to come up, reverse push-up to your plank pose. And then everyone exhales to lift the hips up and back to transition to downward facing dog. All right, we're going to start to move just a little quicker here. So bring the big toes together to touch. Inhale, right leg lifts. Lift through that right heel, and then bend the right knee, reaching the right heel towards your left seat. Square your shoulders down toward the floor. As you exhale, draw the shoulders forward over the wrists as you hug the thigh in towards the chest, knee to nose. Press the floor away. Inhale that right leg up and back, reach up, and then exhale, bend that knee once more. Hug the thigh in towards the chest, and then step the right foot through in between the hands to come into your runner's lunge. Good, so find your steadiness here, find your hips distance between your legs, and then when you feel steady, inhale, reach the arms forward and up to come to your high lunge. Good, so right knee stacks over the right ankle. Lift that back thigh. Keep the legs really engaged here. Lengthen through the sides of the waist. Reach the crown of head up and the tailbone down. Draw the belly button in toward the back body. Good, and then let's take your hands to your hips, and you're going to take that left foot and shorten your stance slightly, and then pivot your left heel down to the floor so that the left big toe points at the front left corner of your mat. Rebend that right knee to come into your warrior one stance. So your hips are square towards the short end of the mat. If the back heel lifts up off the floor, that's okay. You can shorten your stance or just let it lift. You can be heel to heel, or if it feels more steady for you, take a wider stance, about hips distance with your legs. And then inhale the arms forward and up to come to your warrior one. So similar to your high lunge, except this time the back heel is down on the floor. And it's a little bit more of a back bend, so if you put a little arch in your spine, that's okay. Lift the fingertips up towards the ceiling as at the same time you root down through the four corners of each foot. Keep the back legs really active here. And then as you exhale, bring the hands down to your waist, straighten through that front leg. So we're coming to pyramid pose. If you have blocks, maybe set them up along your right foot on the highest setting. And then on your next inhale, let's hinge forward from the hips, keeping your long spine. Good. Lengthen the body over that right leg. Keep that legs really active. So squeeze the muscles of the leg against the bones. And then if you can take the hands down onto your blocks, go ahead and do so. If the floor is available, you could go ahead and take the hands all the way down to the floor, as long as you can keep your legs active. And you can, and you're not moving into like a pain sensation. We want to just feel a good stretch, and we don't want to overstretch the muscles of the hamstrings. So definitely use the blocks on whatever height setting is appropriate for your body. And then just breathe. This is pyramid pose, a very strong hamstring stretch, so just breathe into it, whatever sensation you're feeling. One more breath. And then bend that front knee, grab your blocks and place them about a foot in front of your right toes. Place your hands on the blocks on the highest setting and start to shift the weight forward into that right leg as we transition into warrior three. So use the blocks to help you balance. Exhale to begin to straighten through that right leg. Lift the left leg up into the sky, pinning that left hip down towards the floor. So try not to let that left hip open up. Instead, draw it down towards your mat. Toes point down towards the floor, and put a little micro bend in your right knee. That'll help you balance a little bit more. So strong standing leg, firm the quad, firm the hamstring, firm the right glute as you reach back through that left heel. Really strong hamstring here. Lengthen through the spine. If you'd like to practice with taking the hands off the blocks, you can, but if you feel safe with the hands down on the blocks, then by all means, just stay here. One more breath here in your warrior three, and then mindfully set that left foot back down on the floor. Take the hands down to frame the right foot, and then step the right foot back to come to plank pose. Hold here for a single breath, and then option to lower the knees down to the floor for the modified chaturanga like before, or you can inhale, rock forward onto your tippy toes, shoulders come past the wrists. Exhale to hover down halfway, shoulders in line with elbows, and then inhale to roll forward onto the tops of the feet to lift the shoulders up and open for upward facing dog, or you can lower the body and the thighs all the way down to the floor for cobra pose, whichever variation works best. And then when you're ready, you'll exhale in your own way, draw the hips up and back. Flip the feet if you're an upward facing dog as you come to downward facing dog. Breathe here, and then we'll bring the big toes together to touch. Inhale, left leg lifts. And now bend the left knee, reaching the left heel towards your right seat. Square your shoulders, open up through the hips so you can stack the left hip over the right. And then as you exhale, draw the left thigh in towards the chest as you draw the shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, up and back, three-legged dog, reach through the toes. And then exhale, knee to nose, hug it in, press the floor away. And then step the left foot through in between the hands to come to your runner's lunge. Find your hips distance stance, so you should be on train tracks, not a tightrope. And then on your inhale, press through the front heel to sweep the arms up, to come to high lunge. So back leg is really active. Stack the left knee over the left ankle. Kneecap tracks over the second and third toe. Beautiful. So lengthen through the spine. Reach your crown of head up. Firm the legs. Draw the belly button in. Awesome job. On your next exhale, take the hands down onto the hips, and then bring that right foot slightly forward. So shorten your stance a little bit, and then spiral the right heel down towards the floor so that the right big toe points toward the front right corner of your mat. Draw the left hip back, the right hip forward to square the hips. Rebend that front knee, then come into your warrior one. Inhaling the arms up, maybe putting a little back bend in the upper body. Firm the legs. You can be heel to heel, or you can bring the feet wider into a hips distance stance if you need to feel steadier. Especially if you're a beginner, go ahead and take the hips distance stance. One more breath here in your warrior one, and then exhale the hands down to your waist once more. Straighten through the left leg. Grab the blocks again if you used them the previous time. We're coming to pyramid pose. So square the hips, put a little micro bend in that left knee, and then lengthen through the spine. Inhale to hinge forward. Good. Now you can stay here with the hands on the hips, or you can take the hands down onto the blocks, whatever height setting suits you, high, medium, or low. Or you can take the hands all the way down to the mat, if that's in your practice. Definitely tune into your body here. Make sure you're giving your body exactly what it needs. You're not pushing too far just for the sake of pushing. So really listen. Ground down into the legs. Spread the feet apart like you wanted to rip your mat in half in between your feet. One more breath here. And then start to bend that front knee, grab your blocks, place them about a foot in front of your left foot, and then we're going to rock the weight forward, so coming onto the toes of the right foot as we transition into warrior three. So root down through that left leg, start to lift through the right leg, bringing the right leg parallel to the floor or somewhere in between. That's okay if you're not all the way parallel, no worries. Point the toes down towards the floor and pin that right hip down as you lengthen through the entire back chain of the body. And we want our blocks to be stacked right underneath our shoulders, so make any adjustments you need to, so that your leg is stacked directly over your ankle and your shoulders are over your wrists and blocks. If you're not using blocks, you can just leave the hands on your hips or fly the arms back, your choice. One more breath here. And then slowly bend that left knee to set the right foot down on your mat. Take the hands down to frame the foot. Make sure your blocks are out of the way. Good, and then this time, you're going to inhale to slowly step the right foot forward next to the left. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins, reach the heart forward. Exhale, bend the knees to fold. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Press through the heels to come up, exalted mountain. Exhale, hands in prayer through heart center to return to mountain. Beautiful job. Let's take one more sun salutation A. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands through center to fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, bend the knees, step the left foot back, lunge. Step the right foot back, plank, shoulders over wrists. Option to lower the knees or shift the weight forward onto the toes. Exhale, chaturanga, all the way down or halfway down to hover. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back, open through the chest. And then exhale to transition in your own way to downward facing dog. Lengthen through the spine. Pedal out the feet if you like. Good, find stillness. Bring the big toes together. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, shoulders over wrists, knee to nose. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. This time step the right foot through, in between the hands. Now pivot that left heel down to the floor, heel to arch alignment here as we inhale to cartwheel the arms up into warrior two, shoulders over hips. Reach the arms away, broad chest, strong legs. Good. And then inhale, flip that front palm over, lift the right arm up and over to come to reverse warrior. Good, inhale to come back up to warrior two. Straighten through that right leg, so long legs, we're coming to triangle pose. So lengthen through your right side body, kicking that left hip back out behind you. And then take your right hand either down to your thigh, your shin, or onto a block. Stocking the left shoulder over the right, coming to triangle pose. Option to just take the top hand onto the hip or the waist, if that feels better for your shoulders. You can always take the hand down to the floor if your practice includes that. And really lengthen through the spine here. So firm the legs, squeeze the quads, lengthen the tailbone down as you draw the belly in. Imagine keeping the entire body in between two panes of glass. Awesome. And then as you inhale, we're going to cartwheel the arms up as you press through that front foot. Good. And then we'll inhale. We're going to sweep that left arm forward as you lift the left heel up off the floor. Come to your high lunge. Exhale the hands down to frame the foot. And step the right foot back. Plank pose. Now you can take your modified chaturanga, a full chaturanga, or you can skip it completely and just come to downward facing dog if you feel like your body is starting to fatigue. So do whatever you can with good form. Chaturanga on your exhale, cobra or upward facing dog on your inhale. Transition to downward facing dog on your exhale. Take a breath here, bring the big toes together to touch. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, draw the thigh in and step the left foot through between the hands. Come into your runner's lunge. Now pivot the right heel down to the floor, bringing your heel and arch into alignment. And you want your back foot at about a 45-degree angle or parallel to the back of the mat. Inhale, press through the left foot, cartwheel the arms up to come to your warrior two on the second side. So adjust your stance as necessary to be comfortable. Stack the left knee over the left ankle. Arms reach strongly away. Draw the belly button in. Good, flip that front palm. Inhale the left arm up and over, resting the right hand lightly on the right thigh, reverse warrior. Inhale to warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Lengthen through your left side body. Kick that right hip back behind you, coming to triangle pose. Good, and when you've reached as far as you can reach through the left fingertips, take the left hand down to the thigh, the shin, a block, or the floor. Spiral that right shoulder up towards the ceiling, stacking right shoulder over left. Gaze can be straight ahead, or you can take the gaze up towards the right palm, your choice. Firm the legs. Really press down through the pinky toe side of the right foot and the heel of the left foot. Lengthen through both sides of the waist equally, noticing if there's any crunching through the bottom ribs. Beautiful, and then inhale to press up through that front foot, and then sweep the right arm forward as you bend to the left knee, coming onto the ball of the right foot, high lunge. Exhale the hands down to frame the foot. Mindfully step that right foot forward, coming to your half lift, hands to shins. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale, bend the knees, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms forward and up, reach up. Exalted mountain. Exhale, hands in prayer through heart center. Tadasana, mountain pose. So from your mountain pose, take the feet about as wide as your mat, a little bit wider than hips distance, and turn the toes out at a 45-degree angle. And then we're gonna start to sit your bottom down towards the floor. So bend through the knees. We're coming into Malasana, or our yogi squat. So drop the bottom as close to the floor as you comfortably can, keeping the knees tracking in line with the second and third toes. So you can bring the elbows to the insides of your knees and actually use the elbows to keep the knees pressing out, stretching through the inner thighs. So we're gonna be here for 3 breaths. So really ground down through your heels, lengthen through the spine, lifting through the chest. Good, 1 more breath. And then carefully help yourself down. So release your feet or your hands down to the floor as you slowly come down onto your seat. And we'll transition all the way onto our backs. Grab your strap before you lay down. And we're gonna roll down onto our spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. And then we're gonna use the strap to help us really feel some good stretches through the hamstrings. So whatever you're using, wrap it around the sole of your left foot. And then bring your left leg up towards the ceiling, like you wanted to plant your footprint up on the ceiling. Now this right leg can be straight, or you can bend the knee, especially if you have tight hamstrings. Go ahead and bend the knee and see how that feels. So you'll hold a strap in either hand. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed. You're not hiking the shoulders up to try to reach super high onto the strap. And then we're going to just stretch through the hamstring. So you might be here, the knee may be really bent, and that's okay. I just want you to find what works for you. So if you can get the legs straight, that's great, but it's not mandatory. You can bend the knee as much as you need to. You can bring the leg further down towards the bottom of your mat. Just become wherever you need to be in order to feel a nice stretch through the back of the leg, the back of the hamstring, even into the calf of the left leg. Breathing deeply into this stretch, so wherever you feel the most sensation, send your breath there. Relax the face, soften the jaw, relax your shoulders. And then we're going to take both straps into the left hand, bring the right arm out to your side into a T or a goalpost shape. And then we're going to use your left hand to slowly open through the left leg. So we're bringing that left leg out to the side now. And stop wherever you feel like the body is wanting to stop. So you don't have to come all the way down to the floor. And I would recommend even taking your right hand onto your right hip and pressing down to make sure your right seat stays grounded down on the floor and your right hip doesn't pop up off the floor. We really want to keep the right side body completely grounded down on your mat. So open out to the side as much as feels good, as much as the body wants to allow today, opening through that inner thigh, inner groin area. Just breathe into it, find stillness, and bring the attention back to the breath. And then we're going to slowly start to bring that left leg back up in line with the left hip, and then switch both straps into your right hand. Take your left arm out to the side. Now, we're not going to bring the left leg all the way across towards the floor like we did on this side. We're just going to take the left foot to be slightly past the right hip. Okay, so now we're working into this IT band outer hip area, and if we take it all the way over, the stretch will be more in your low back, which, you know, if that's what your body is craving today, then by all means. My intention though with this stretch is to really target the outer side of your leg, this whole outer chain of muscles. So we accomplish that by taking the left foot slightly past the right hip, or somewhere in between. You may already feel the stretch and you're like right in line with your belly button. Okay, so find a place where you feel a nice stretching sensation, but you're still able to breathe deeply and breathe slowly. If your breath has started to shorten or you started to panic a little bit, probably means you need to back off slightly. One more breath. And then we'll inhale to come back to center. Go ahead and bring that left leg down toward the floor. Step the right foot inside the strap and step the left leg out of the strap. And then we'll inhale the right leg up, walking the hands up the strap as you go. Good, so take a strap in either hand, relax the shoulders. You can keep the left leg straight or you can bend the knee, depends on what feels good for you. And again, put as much of a bend in your right knee as you need to have in order to be comfortable, in order for you to feel a nice sensation in the hamstring, but not feel like you're overstretching. Breathing deep, relax the shoulders, soften the gaze, maybe even close the eyes if it feels good. And then bring both straps into your right hand. And we're going to bring that right leg out to the side, just like we did before. You can take your left hand onto your left hip as you come down. If you're up against a wall like me, you may want to shift your hips away so you can open up a little bit more. So now feeling a stretch to the right groin, the right inner thigh, keeping that left hip and left seat pinned down towards the floor. And then when you feel steady, you can always bring the arm out to the side if you like. We'll take a few deep, slow breaths here. Long, easy inhales. Slow, complete exhales. And then on your next inhale, start to bring that right leg back in towards center. Switch the strap into your left hand now. Bring the right arm out to the side, and then we're going to bring that right foot in line with or slightly past the left hip until you feel a nice stretch through the outer leg. And you may feel the stretch in like a totally random spot. You may feel this in your calf, and that's totally okay. That's just where your body is feeling it today, and that might be where you're tightest, and that's where the stretch and sensation is manifesting within your body. So there's no right or wrong place to feel this stretch as long as you're feeling sensation and not pain. We don't want to feel pain. We just want to feel a nice stretch. Just a few more rounds of breath. And then we'll inhale that right leg back in line with the right hip. Go ahead and lower the right leg all the way down to the floor. Set the strap off to the side. And then bend both knees, bringing the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. You could even make circles in one direction with your knees, or you can kind of take the knees into a circle shape. This feels really nice. Taking the knees into the chest and then taking the knees wide and then bringing them back together as you push them away. Kind of working gently into the hips a little bit, stretching everything out. one more big circle with the knees. And then we'll squeeze the legs into the chest once more. If there's another pose your body would like to take before you settle into Shavasana, go ahead and take it, like Happy Baby or a twist. But if you're ready to go ahead and proceed to your Shavasana, go ahead and extend the legs towards the bottom of the mat. If there's any tweaking in your low back, you can bend the knees, lengthen the tailbone down towards the bottom of your mat, and then re-straighten the legs. If that didn't help all the way, place a pillow or a rolled up blanket underneath your knees, and that'll eliminate any fussiness in the low back. So you can bring the arms out at your sides, palms face up, or you can rest the palms on the belly, whichever feels best for you today. And just let any sort of deep breathing go. Just allow your breath pattern to return to its normal, easy pattern. Closing the eyes if you like. Letting the body settle down deeply into the floor. On your next inhale, deepen your breath into the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes. As you're ready, bending one knee and then the other to roll onto one side to rest. Finally, using your arms to press yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Bring the hands to prayer at heart center. Taking a moment to sit in silence, to reflect on any shifts that took place within this practice, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. And then taking a moment to reflect with gratitude on 3 or 4 things that you have to be thankful for. Your body, your yoga practice, family, friends, whatever you're grateful for today, just say a quick prayer to yourself or reflect on those things, saying thank you for these wonderful things in your life. Finally, bowing forward over the legs. Namaste.